به مقر کنگرس ایالات متحده امریکا هستیم و با یک تن از اعضای مجلس نمایندگان امریکا یا کانگرسمن بسیار با نفوذ ایالات متحده امریکا به نام استیو استوکمن هم صحبت هستیم. Do you have any comment about the election?
I think Afghanistan has to come together and join together in order to defend Afghanistan. In a way, by having an agreement between the two top leaders, I think that's good for Afghanistan, and there'll be less fighting. Afghanistan has been at war for many, many decades, and for once we're hoping there will be peace now. John Kerry's trip out there was to encourage both sides to come to an agreement. Hopefully that agreement will be signed, and hopefully they'll work out the differences between the two of them. Actually, the two leaders that were in a runoff are very similar in style and, in fact, in manner. Both of them pledged to sign the agreement with the United States, which is good, and will help Afghanistan to become a peaceful place. I don't think it was an accident that the general was killed. I think this was a terrorist act. And it was unfortunate that we didn't have more representation there. But I believe that overall we've seen these attacks on the United States decline. And as Afghanistan steps up and becomes a country and on its own feet, more and more friendship can be built between the Afghani people and the United States.
So, Mr. Congressman, do you have any comment about Afghanistan neighbor like Iran and especially Pakistan? Because Pakistan policy toward Afghanistan is unfortunately very negative, since I remember.
I think Pakistan and Afghanistan need to sit down at the table and stop the cross-border attacks from Pakistan. This is important both for Pakistan and Afghanistan. There needs to be communication between both countries. And the terrorism that's caused by these cross-border crossings is not good for either country and only sets the table to destabilize the region. So we are hoping that Pakistan and Afghanistan can get together and work out these problems. Well, Iran actually is probably pleased the way things are going because they like, I believe, a destabilized area. It benefits them in negotiations for the nuclear trade talks with the Committee of Five. It also benefits them to have a destabilized Afghanistan because it helps them when they have a weak neighbor. But I think eventually Afghanistan will stand up on its own feet and become a great nation. Afghanistan has many natural minerals, natural things that will make the nation a very wealthy nation at one time. We just need to focus and have peace and prosperity. Right. Right. The agreement between the United States and Afghanistan is very important. Both candidates pledged when they ran for president that they would sign the agreement. Even though Hamar Karzai did not want to sign it, both candidates promised to sign it. So in my opinion, once we work out the government situation, they will sign the agreement. And the United States will continue to be friends with Afghanistan and will continue to see the friendship grow.
Thank you, Mr. Stockman. After 2014, U.S. pulling out all the soldiers, international community the same.
The agreement doesn't call for 100% pullout. That's inaccurate. The agreement calls for about 10,000 troops to be there. They'll continue to be training. My hope is that people from Afghanistan will understand that we're friends. We're not there to dominate the country. We're there to help the country. Afghanistan has had many, many wars, and if people would study the history of Afghanistan before the wars, they'd fall in love with Afghanistan. It's a very beautiful country. It's a very prosperous, it could be prosperous, and they just need to look back to where Afghanistan was once, can be that way again. Okay. I personally think that the Afghanis need to study the history before the wars, talk to some of the older people that have been there for a long time and talk about the way it used to be. That's the way it can be again. Women had rights, women went to school. It was a very modern society, very developed, and unfortunately outside interference into Afghanistan caused great upheaval. But now Afghanistan is standing on its feet again and will again be a great nation.
And are you satisfied with the President Karzai's activity this 12 or 13 years?
Well, in every relationship, just like marriage, there's disagreements. And we've had our disagreements with Hamar Karzai, but he's leaving. And his brother has a restaurant in Washington, D.C., so maybe he'll be help cooking in Washington, D.C.
Have you been as the Karzais Brothers restaurant in Maryland?
Yeah, and I ate Afghanistan food. I don't know, but I went with Dana Robacher there to have food.
Okay. And do you think that United States was successful or done successful job in Afghanistan?
I should interview you. You sound like you have more opinions than I do. Afghanistan and the history is yet to be written. We want to see how it turns out. We can't predict, but the only way it's going to win is to keep outside interference away from the country of Afghanistan.
Are you optimistic?
Yes, I'm optimistic, and I thank you for having me today.
Thank you for Afghanistan.
You are the best Afghanistan reporter I've ever met, and you're wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Congressman. کانگرسمن ایالات متحده آمریکا استیو استوکمن در حال ابراز نظر میکنه که هنوز نتایج انتخابات افغانستان روشن نیست و تمام کارشناسا و مقامات بلندپایه آمریکا و مردم عادیش در انتظار اعلام نتایج انتخابات ریاست جمهوری افغانستان هستند. نظیر عظیم کریمی، آریانا نیوز، مقر کانگرس، واشنگتن دی سی. شما و نظر در مورد تلویزیون آریانا هم دارن. بخیالم که یکی از بیننده هستند. Steve, are you familiar with Ariana?
Yes, when I come to Afghanistan, I watch Ariana TV. Watch Ariana TV.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so honored that Afghanistan television came out to my office.
Ariana.
Ariana, the best station to watch.